Hello everyone, I am Akshay of Data Science A section. My Java topic is about Java Object Oriented Programming Language. Java Object Oriented Language. We are going to come across with these concepts in upcoming slide. Introduction to OOPS language, OOPS concept, implementation of OOPS concept, advantage of OOPS concept and disadvantage of OOPS concept. Object-oriented programming is a paradigm that provides many concepts such as inheritance, data binding, and polymorphism, etc. Stimulation is considered as the first object-oriented programming in the programming paradigm where everything is represented as an object is known as truly object-oriented programming language. Small stack is considered the first truly object-oriented programming language. The popular object-oriented programming languages are Java, C, PHL, Python, C++, etc. Play video. The main aim of object-oriented programming is implement a real-world entries and for example object classes, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Example: object means a real-world entity such as pen, chair, table, uh, computer, watch, etc. Object-oriented programming is a methodology or paradigm to design a program using classes, objects, simplify software development and maintenance by providing some concepts: objects, class, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, and encapsulation. Object. Java object: an entity has a state behavior known as an object. For example, chair, pen, table, keyboard, bike, etc. can be physical or logical. An object can be defined as instance of class. An object contains an address and take up some space in memory. Objects can communicate without knowing the details of each other's data or code. The only necessary thing is the type of message accepted and the type of response returned by the object. A dog is object which because it has states like color, name, breed, etc. has a well behavior like wagging and tailing and barking, eating, etc. An object has three characters: state represents the data, value of an object, behavior represents the behavior functionality of an object such as deposit, withdraw, etc. Identity: an object identity is typically implemented via a unique ID. The value of ID is not visible to the external user, however it is used internally by the JPP identity in each object uniquely. Characteristic: state represents the data of an object, behavior represents the behavior of an object such as deposit with, etc. Identity is an identity of each other. Object is an instance of class. A class is a template or a blueprint for which an object creates. So object is instant result of class. Object definition: object is a real world eternity. An object is a runtime eternity. An object is eternity which has state and behavior. Object which is an instance of class. What is a class in Java? A class is a program class is a group of object which has common properties, which is a template or blueprint with objects are created. It is logically eternity. It can be physical. A class in Java can contain fields, method, constructor, blocks, nested class, and interface. Syntax to declare the class: class and class name, field, method, instance variable. In Java, the variable which is created inside the class but outside the method is known as instance variable. Instance variable does not get memory at compile time. It gets memory at runtime when an object or instance is created. That is why it is known as instance variable. Method in Java: in Java, a method is like a function which is used to expose the behavior of an object. Advantage method: code reusability and code optimization. New keyword in Java: new keyword is used to allocate memory at runtime. All objects get memory in a heap memory area. Here is an example of a main with class. In this example, we create a student class with a two data members id name each. We are creating an object of the class student class by the new keyword and printing the object's value. Here's a code, look at it and get a brief idea. Class collection of objects is called class. It is a logically identity. Class can also be defined as blueprint from which you can create an individual object. Class does not consume any space inheritance. When one object acquires all the properties and behavior of a parent object is known as inheritance. It provides code's reusability. It is used to achieve runtime polymorphism. If one task is performed in different ways, it is known as polymorphism. For example, to convince the customer differently to draw something, for example shape, triangle, etc. In Java we use method overloading and method overriding and achieve polymorphism. Other example to speak abstraction, hiding internal details and showing a functionality is known as abstraction. For example, phone call, we don't know the internal processing. Encapsulation, binding or wrapping code or data together into a single unit are known as encapsulation. For example, wrapped with different medicines. Java class is an example of encapsulation. Java bean is a fully encapsulated class because all the data members are private here. Coupling refers to the knowledge of information or dependency of other class. It arises when classes are aware of each other. If a class has detailed information of another class, there is a strong coupling. In Java. We use private protector and a public modifier to display the visibility level of class method and field. You can use interface for the weaker coupling because there is no concrete implementation. Coherence to the level of components which performs a single well-defined task. A single well-defined task is done by highly coherence method. The weakly coherence method will split the task into separate parts, and Java IO package is highly coherence package because it is has I-O related classes. However, in Java util package is weakly coherence package because it is unrelated class and interface. Association represents the relation between objects. Here one object can be associated with object or many objects. Here can be four types of association between the objects: one to one, one to many, one to one, and many to many. Let's understand the relation within real-time example. For example, one country can have one prime minister one to one, and a prime minister can have many prime ministers one to many, and many MPs can have one prime minister many to one. Many prime ministers have many departments many to many. Association can be unidirectional and bidirectional. Regression is a way to achieve association. Regression represents the relation between one object contains other objects as a part of its state. It represents the weak relationship between objects. It is also termed as a relationship in Java, like inheritance represents. It is a relationship. It is a other way to reuse object. The composition also way to achieve association. The composition represents the relationship where one object contains other object as a part of its state. There is a strong relationship between coherent dependent object. It is a state which there contains objects do not have independent existence. Parent object all the child objects with are deleted automatically. Apart from this concept, there are some other terms which are used in object-oriented design: coupling, coherence, association, regression, composition. Object-oriented programming system. Advantages of OOPS over procedure-oriented programming. OOPS makes the development, maintenance, erasure easier, whereas a procedure-oriented programming language is not easy manage. If the code grows, project size increases. Oops provides a data hiding, whereas procedure object global data can be accessed from anywhere. Function 1, function 2, function 2, global data, data representation and procedural object programming language, data representation from function 1, function 2, function 2, and this is object data. Method in Java. In general, a method is a way to perform last task. Similarly, the method in Java is a collection of instructions that performs a specific task. It provides the reusability of code. We can also easily modify code using methods. In this section, we will learn what is a method in Java, types of methods, method declaration, and how to call a method in Java. What is method in Java? A method is a block of code of collection of statements or a set of code grouped together to perform a certain task or operation. It is used to achieve reusability of code. We write a method once and we use it many times. We do not require to write code again and again. If it also provides easy modification and readability of code just by adding or removing of a chunk of code, the method is executed by when we call it to provoke it. The most important method is here: access specifier, real type, method name, parameter list, and method body. This is a method declaration. Method signature. Every method has a method signature. It is a part of method declaration. It includes the method name and parameter list. Accessible specifier. Access specifier or modifier is the access type of method. It specifies the visibility of method. Java provides four types of access specifier. Public. The method is accessible by all classes when we use a public specifier in our application. Private. When we use a private access power, this method is accessible only in the class in which it is defined. Projected. When we use a projected access specifier, the method is accessible within the same package or the subclass in a different package. Default. When we do not use any access specifier in the method declaration, Java uses default access specifier. By default, it is visible only from the same package only. Return type. Return type is a data type that the method returns. It may have a primitive data type, object, collection, void, etc. If the method does not return anything, we use void key. Naming of data. While defining method, remembers that the method name must be verbal and start with a lowercase letter. If the method name has more than two words, and the first must be verb formed by the adjective or noun. The multiple method. Here is an example and syntax. There are two types in this method: predefined and user defined. Predefined are the method already defined in Java class library known as predefined or built-in factor or library standard library method. We directly use these methods just by calling them program any point. Some predefined methods are length equals compared to squad, etc. We call any of the predefined methods in our program as a series code related to corresponding method runs in the background. It is already stored in a library. Each and every predefined method is defined inside a class such as print. Method is defined in the Java print stream class. It prints the statement that we write inside the method. For example, write Java, it prints Java on the console. It's here as an example to get an idea. User-defined method by the user or program is known as user. These methods are modified according to the requirement. How to create the user? Here is an example to get an idea of user defined. We define the above method named find even or odd. It is a parameter number of type int. This method does not return any value. That's why we have used the void. The method body contains the steps to check the number is even or odd. If the number is even, prints the it prints the number is even, else prints the number is odd. Here is an example of instance method. The instance method of a class is known as instance class. It is a non-static method defined in the class. Before calling or provoking the instance method, it is necessary to create an object of its class. Let us see an example of instance method. Here is an example. There are two types of instance method, access method and muter method. Access method, the method that reads the instant variables known as access method. We can easily identify the because the method is prefixed with get word. It also known as getters, and it turns the value of private field. It is used to get the value of private field. Example: muter is a muter method reads the instance variable and also modify the value. We can easily identify it because the method is prefixed to the word set. It is also known as setter or modifier. It does not return anything. It accepts a parameter of the same data type, depends on the field. It is used to set the value of private field. Thank you everyone. I hope you all have understood about the OOPS concept and its advantages and disadvantages in Java. Thank you.